Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Remember that piece I told you about by Michael Anton about that liberal group and their plans before the election if they lost to Donald Trump for post-election chaos? Remember that? Generated all kinds of... There's nothing liberals hate more than when you expose them for their calls for chaos. They tried to blame it on us. Remember that article? Well, it's weird. All their promises are coming true. Remember their calls for post-election chaos? That chaos they promise is happening right now. As I have listed on my show rundown today. Here we go. Now, I'm sure the New York Slimes and others will come out and try to blame me for exposing what liberals are doing again. And that's great. It just leads to more downloads for my show as you try to blame me for your insanity. That is A-okay. But I am going to go down a list today of things liberals are doing. If you thought post-election, when they think they've won, because they do, they think Biden's the president-elect right now. Nothing happens until December 14th when the electors meet. They don't know that because they haven't read the Constitution. If you thought that even though they think Biden won, they were all going to calm down and go away, you are out of your mind. I'm sorry. They have doubled down on crazy, and I'll prove it to you today. Today's show brought to you by ExpressVPN. Ladies and gentlemen, surf the web in peace. Protect your activity online from prying eyeballs. Go to expressvpn.com/Bongino and get a VPN today. Welcome to the Dan Bongino Show. Producer Joe, how are you today? Fine, sir.
Well, I'm doing quite well, fine, sir. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. I had an Adobe crash here before the show, which we're right back up and running right again. So we love it. We have multiple backups here ready to rock and roll. All right, folks, by the way, one quick announcement. We do have an interview show today, back again for our post-election day, because the election's not yet over because they're still counting votes, unbelievably. Rudy Giuliani back again to tell us about all those crazy anomalies we've seen out there. And one of the president's attorneys, Jenna Ellis, back again for the second time. Rudy for the third time. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll air it on Friday afternoon. So you're definitely not going to want to miss that one, taping it later today. All right, today's show brought to you by our friends at... it's a huge day. It's going to be a long day. A lot of work today. That's all right. We the People holsters. Ladies and gentlemen, this is mine. This is mine right here. Look at that. Look at that beauty. The pending results of the election will no doubt cause a spike in firearm sales. They always do, sadly, because everybody's afraid what's going to happen with these elections. If you're making a firearms purchase because you're worried about the future of the Second Amendment, be safe, responsible, and carry with the best holster out there, We the People holsters. Again, this is what I have two of them. This is one of mine. You've already seen my other one. It's the Constitution one, printed with the We the People on the front. Starting at just $40, We the People holsters are custom designed to fit your firearm perfectly and made right here in the USA. They have thousands of options to choose from, plus an amazing selection of printed holsters. Their proprietary clip design, you see that? Allows for you to easily adjust the cant and the ride of your holster so you can fit comfortably and securely at all times, not like those generic one-size-fits-all crappy inside the waistband holes that rub up against your hip. Go to WeThePeopleHolsters.com/Dan. Get yours today. Every holster ships free, comes with a lifetime guarantee. Get an additional $10 off with the offer code Dan. This makes a great gift and satisfaction is guaranteed. If it's not a perfect fit, send it back for a total refund. That's WeThePeopleHolsters.com/Dan. WeThePeopleHolsters.com/Dan. Offer code Dan. Go today. All right, let's go. Loaded show today. Thanks, We the People holsters. We appreciate it. Yeah. When we start live streaming, it'll make more sense, folks. Coming soon, we hope. All right. Remember the coming coup, that article by Michael Anton? I told you the Democrats and their liberal allies were promising a bunch of post-election chaos. A street fight, not a legal one. Well, they certainly deliver. Again, I can't repeat this enough. If you were under the delusion, that because the Democrats think they've won the presidency with Joe Biden, that they were somehow going to go away, celebrate their victory, and focus on legislation, you'd be wrong. Remember the movie Tombstone? And Wyatt Earp asks Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday what they were looking for, Curly Bill and others. And he says, they were looking for a reckoning. Well, the Democrats are certainly looking for a reckoning right now. Here we go. I'm going to read out to you a series of headlines of things that have happened since Election Day is over. The election's not over yet. It's not over till December 14th, despite what the media who believes they somehow have a constitutional role in this election. I've yet to find it. I've been looking. Have you found it, Joe? Paul, have you found? I haven't found that yet. Haven't seen that yet anywhere. But they seem to think they declare who the president-elect is, that's you can do that all you want. We'll just continue to ignore you. But if you thought they'd go away, you'd be crazy. Let's go to the headlines here, and let me show you headline number 1. So if you thought Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and the lunatic witch hunt brigade, which fabricated the PP tape, the collusion hoax, is still telling you they didn't spy on the president despite finding payments to an actual spy who spied on the president's team. If you thought that was going to go away, you'd be crazy. Here's the Washington Examiner. These are all, the show notes are lengthy today. Bongino.com/newsletter. The newsletter is the show notes. You can read all these articles. There's a lot of articles today. Here's article number 1. So the Democrats, did you see this? They put out a little memo, the House Democrats. Trump inquiries coming. House Democrats warn 3 years in jail if documents are destroyed, by Paul Bedard at the Washington Examiner. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trump administration is fully aware of the fact that we have to preserve records. We don't destroy records like Democrats do. Remember those 30,000 emails about yoga and Hillary's granddaughter's wedding or whatever it was they said they were talking about or going? Remember that? Joe, we got those, right? We read those. No, of course we haven't. We still haven't seen those yet. So we're not Hillary Clinton. We have the gavel. Pretend this is a hammer, not a gavel for a minute. Remember Hillary Clinton's Blackberries? It was like this. Remember that? The BlackBerry destruction thing? Yeah, they must be confusing us with the Clintons. As always, the Democrats always accuse you of what they're guilty of. It is illegal to destroy government records, emails, communications. So why would the Democrats send a memo about a law that's already on the books to the Trump administration, threatening them with 3 years in jail if they destroy records? Why would they do that? Because again, read between the lines, ladies and gentlemen. There's always a subtext to everything here. And if you know lunatic liberals like I do, you know exactly what they're saying. What's happening here, Joe? The lunatic liberals want revenge. It's not good enough that they think they won the presidency. It's not good enough. If you thought their staggering losses in the House and Senate in this election, the Democrats, that is, and their sliver of a potential win in the presidency, it's not even over yet, was going to say to them, maybe we should calm down with all the lunatic stuff. You are wrong. X. Simon Cowell X at America's Got Talent. Buzzer. No. Their lunatic base is calling for political decapitations. They want this thing. They want people to be taught a lesson. I'm not kidding. The memo was sent for a reason. The lunatic base is pressuring congressional representatives, the Democrat senators, bureaucrats on the inside, threatening them with donations and future support if not only they don't punish the Trump team, but punish them viciously. So the Democrats, to keep their lunatic, you tracking me, Joe? To keep their lunatic base happy, sent out this memo knowing it would leak to the press like it did to Paul Bedard, saying, we're coming for you all. You better not dare destroy those records. Oh, you thought this was going to go away? Dan, why are you telling us this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's an election coming up in just a few weeks in January in Georgia. No matter what happens with this presidential election, that election's still going down. And there's a midterm. And listen to me, there's no time for whining here. Remember telling, there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in politics. There's none. There's no crying in politics. This is our country. We still have to live here. This is not the golf game. I've used the analogy 1,000 times. It's a boxing match. Golf, you quit, nobody cares. Boxing, you quit, the other guy's still kicking your ass. End the story. You can't quit. I know you're not quitters. I know it. I can feel it. I'm reading your emails. Everybody is more pissed off than anything. There's no quitting anyone. We've got to live here. If they take over, there's a material, touchable impact in your life. Exploding crime, your business being bankrupt, another lockdown. I'll get to that soon. Investigations into people who worked in the Trump administration for the crime, Joe. Crime, dreaded air quotes, of working for President Trump, because that apparently is a crime now, because we now live in essentially a third world republic, if that's what the Democrats want.
Yeah.
They promised us chaos, Joe, and they are certainly going to deliver. This is like a bizarro version of that Lou Diamond Phillips movie, Remember Stand and Deliver with Edward James Olmos? Stand and Deliver, the Democrats version. Oh, they're going to stand and deliver, right? Just in this movie, you wind up in the gulag for working for the Trump team. Maybe I'll be there next. Here's article number 2. The Biden team knows that, listen, in order to inflict tangible material losses on people who oppose them, whatever it may be, investigations, bankrupting their business, easiest way to do it's through the tech companies, right? Because they control everything. Your buying habits at Amazon, your social media posting. Wow, look at this article. Washington Examiner. Mika Soliner. Biden transition team adds several tech executives to their team there. What a coincidence that is. I'm sure it's just because of their wonderful experience in government and legislating and all. Amazon folks, I heard Google folks, Uber, Google controls YouTube and all your search habits. Go Google Biden crime family and see what comes up. It'll be 6,000 fake fact checks before you get to the point that the Biden family and their 10% for the big guy story is very real. You think the Biden team is hiring these tech executives because they have some kind of love affair with Amazon, Google, Uber, and others? Doc was right. Doc Holliday, that is. It's a reckoning. Or you just want to give up now? I'm not talking to you, my audience. You all are the most faithful warriors, hardcore folks I've ever seen. You're in this to the end. But I'm talking to potentially some listeners out there finding our show for the first time who are thinking about giving up. You're thinking wrong. Because these people are not kidding around. And until we stop kidding around, the not kidding around won't stop. Gets worse. So Joe Biden had a doctor, Dr. Osterholm, on his coronavirus advisory board. Well, conveniently, now that the Biden team assumes and thinks they've won the election and they think they've been declared president by the media, which is weird. Again, I've read that in the Constitution. Still looking. Haven't seen that provision yet. Now that they think they've won, they think they're comfortable and they don't have to get any more votes. Oh, look what came out yesterday by one of Biden's advisors. You think this was an accident that this leaked? Bongino.com article. Again, all of this will be in the show notes. Read all of them and send them to your friends. Biden coronavirus advisor calls for a 4 to 6 week lockdown by our buddy Matt Palumbo. Another like the first one, Joe, works so well. It was just fantastic at stopping everything. The first one worked so well. Another 4 to 6 week lockdown. So in case you weren't bankrupted the first time, missed your cancer treatment, someone, God forbid, in your family went into depression or may have, incredibly sadly, may have committed suicide, your kids are losing years of education, taking away their value-added abilities in the job market later through educational aptitude and achievement. If none of that was wiped out before, let's definitely wipe it out now. This is not a joke. Read the article yourself. I'm not putting screenshots from the article. I didn't want Paula to divorce me because she helps me produce the show. That's very important. Divorce, no good. But secondly, I don't even have enough. I have so many articles. If I went through every screenshot, I'd never get to all this stuff. Remember the headline today. They want a reckoning through the tech industry, through investigations, through more economic lockdowns. Your restaurant barely stayed open. Remember that quote from H.L. Mencken the other day? Democracy, when you vote for it, you deserve to get it good and hard. Oh, we're going to get it good and hard. If Joe Biden pulls this out, it's coming good and hard. And by good, I mean really bad. You say, Dan, gosh, that's really bad, those 3 stories. More investigations if you work for Trump. Biden hiring all these tech people. Gee, that can't go well. Locking the economy down again for another 4 to 6 weeks. That sounds horrible. We're only, hold on one second. 1, 2, 3. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 more to go. It's going to get worse? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it's going to get worse. Let's go to number 4. It's already starting. So a bunch of Trump supporters got together and said, hey, it'd probably be a good idea to have a rally. I think that's a fantastic idea. So they decided to put the information on another tech tyrant site, Eventbrite. Well, Eventbrite said, no, you're not going to organize for a political rally on our site. An event. So we'll call them Event Not So Bright. Post-millennial, Mia Cathell. Eventbrite shuts down March for Trump page for, quote, potentially harmful misinformation. Interesting how political rallies are now harmful misinformation only if they're political rallies for Donald J. Trump. You think now that Joe Biden thinks he won, this is going to get any better? So now, just to be clear, we're censoring the president on social media. We're shutting down his rallies through websites like Event Not So Bright, which, by the way, no conservative should ever go on again. By the way, don't toy with me. You know my history with social media and tech companies where we're ready to take down Twitter and YouTube at the same time with Rumble. Don't play games with me. Should have learned that lesson last time. You may say, gosh, this sounds bad. Now we can't organize. If we worked for Trump, we could be looking at investigation. They'll be coming after us with their full force of the tech industry, and they'll lock down the economy again. Hey, democracy, good and hard, folks. You get it good and hard. Check out this little gem in the Daily Caller. Again, you thought they were going to back down now that they think they won? Oh, let's just take our toys and go home. No, you better take your toys and start playing with them toys again. Daily Caller article. Check this, baby. I got a screenshot from this one coming up in a minute. I want to get some other stuff in between that to show you how bad this is. Daily Caller. Mary Margaret Olahan. Sorry, my eyesight's not that great. We have a list. Pundits and Democrats plan to hold Trump supporters accountable. They're now putting together lists. Joe, where have we seen lists before? Fascist countries. Gulags. Soviet Union. Communist China.
Yeah, rings a bell.
Yeah, it rings a bell, right? I've actually seen lists in Hong Kong right now as the Communist Chinese have disbanded their legislative council, essentially. If you read that story, that's fascinating. One of the last bastions of freedom left in Hong Kong. They had a list too. You see, that's what fascists do. And that's what tyrants do. What fascists and tyrants do is it's never good enough to win. It's only good enough to win and punish. And in order to punish, you need a list of people to punish. So who are the fascists? Well, we've always known this complete life loser. So let me show this to you. I mean, you want to talk about a loser at life. A total failure of absolute epic proportions, a cataclysm of a human being. Jennifer Rubin, such a disgrace, she can't even hack it at the Washington Compost, which is an embarrassment. So Jennifer Rubin on her Twitter account put out there that any Republican now promoting rejection of an election or calling to not follow the will of the voters or making baseless allegations of fraud should never serve in office, join a corporate board, or find a faculty position, or be accepted into polite society. We have a list, she writes. You have a list. Tell you what, why don't you put this on my list, the old double barrel middle finger. I'll use this finger just in case kids are watching out there at home and they don't really get that. But I'll give you the old double barrel. How about you put me on your list? Because I don't give a rat's caboose about you or your dopey list. You have an inflated sense of self-worth and you think people give a damn. But don't ignore this, because this ultimate buffoon of a human being has been given a platform at the Washington Post to put you on a list. Now, if someone goes on that list and something happens to them, God forbid, I can only hope those people remember through a legal process that Jennifer Rubin put you on that list. I can only imagine if she's sure to be monitoring and checking on a list and advertising people for targeting and there are financial consequences. You know what? There's probably a legal process to pursue that. I'm just saying. You may say, Dan, that's what just Jennifer Rubin. No, people with actual power who've been elected to office and have influence, whether we like it or not, they're calling for lists too. Oh, you doubt me? Check this doozy out. This is Pete Buttigieg. AOC was who I was talking about, who's actually been elected. But this was Pete Buttigieg, who could get a cabinet position. This was his old campaign manager, a deputy manager, a guy named Hari Sevajan, who says, hey, it was just reported that some White House staff the Trump administration are starting to look for jobs. Well, employers considering them should know there are consequences for hiring anyone who helped Trump attack American values. Find out how at another list, Joe, the Trump Accountability Project.
Wow, dude. Oh, jeez.
Now, this guy, Hari Sevajan, this guy could be a player in the new swamp if Joe Biden wins. Because Pete Buttigieg, the worst spokesman in human history for the Biden administration, one of the most arrogant, pompous asses I've ever heard in my life, could potentially bring this guy back into government. And the first thing I would do is start FOIAing immediately his emails to determine what he did with his list and did he bring it into government? I'm just winking a nod, folks. I'm just saying if we have some lawyers out there. I don't have a team of lawyers to do this, but I know there are a bunch of people who do. I would FOIA that right away. I'd like to see Hari's emails. Is that list? Where's that list? Where did that go? Was he using government assets to target free American citizens? Because that would probably be illegal. AOC wants a list too, by the way. She has actual power. Let me get to my second sponsor here, but I want to get to another group that was given and ripped off America basically for $60+ million, the Lenin Project, also known as the Lincoln Project. They have that guy had ties to Russia from the Lincoln. I thought that was no ties to Russia. No. When you're the Lenin Project, it's okay. But I'll get to that in a second, how they think it's funny to dox people. Again, I would be calling lawyers immediately, if I were one of these people. I'll get to that in a second. Let me get to my second sponsor today. Our good friends, I know what you're thinking, and you better be thinking it. You should be thinking it. Who's you? Paula, it's time for a date night. This is the pre-chemotherapy date night. Chemo starts on Tuesday. So this date night's going to be amazing. And there is no date night good enough without the unbelievable sense of our friends. What is this? Duke Cannon. Colognes, soaps, smell like manhood. Smell like victory. The holidays are back. It means one thing. Returning a trunk full of gifts you didn't want. Instead, put something on your wish list you actually want, like the festively masculine scents from Duke Cannon. The Duke. Duke Cannon has holiday-themed grooming gifts like the Frothy the Beer Man gift set. Modeled after the kid. These, you got to get this. Put it on your gift list. Stat, today. If you don't get it today, put a list to get it today, or put it on a list to get today. Modeled after the candy-filled gift books of Christmas Past, it contains 30 ounces of manly, woodsy-scented soaps infused with a more adult treat, booze. But if visions of follicle growth dance in your head, there's the beard that stole Christmas gift set, a keepsake box of provisions that'll nourish even the wispiest of beards to world champion manly beard status. If you're still unsure what to gift, what gift to get or ask for, Duke Cannon has a quiz guaranteed to recommend a great gift for you and those you love, and give you a promo code also for your time. We hope you enjoy opening up our American-made products. Frothy the Beer Man gift set, $20. Modeled after that candy-infused gift book. You've seen them in the past. This instant heirloom contains 30 ounces of booze-inspired premium soaps that smell nothing like booze. They smell like manhood and victory. Great for date night. I'm getting a nod. This is good. There is a response over there. I have awoken the sleeping giant. The beard that stole Christmas gift set's only $20. These keepsakes contain the 3 necessary tools for the man cultivating a world champion beard. Duke Cannon holiday gift sets, you're going to love them. Frothy the Beer Man and the beard that stole Christmas are perfect additions to any man's wish list. Visit DukeCannon.com. Use promo code HOLIDAYDAN. HOLIDADAN. Holiday Dan for 10% off your next order. Free shipping with orders over $30. A selection of Duke Cannon's products are also available at your local Target. DukeCannon.com. Promo code HOLIDAYDAN for 10% off. All right, thanks, Duke Cannon. So, again, like I told you thought they were going to go away. And hey, listen, we won. Let's go do legislative stuff like, governing and all. Sorry. It's revenge time. They want lists. And if you're not on a list, they will dox you. Some folks out there don't know what doxing is. And you know what? If you don't, and I mean this, that's good. Because if you've been doxed, it really sucks. What is doxing? DOXX. Well, doxing is when you place someone's personal identifiers disgracefully on a social media or public platform. Why? So people will go to their home or call them and target them. I've been doxxed probably 20, 30, maybe 50 times. Probably don't want to come to my house, but that's a whole different story. Don't, maybe he's sick. Ooh, not so bad. But we get it. It's happened to me. I have little mechanisms set up now for that. It's really sick and disgusting, and no one should ever do it. But, sick and disgusting people are liberals like the Lenin Project. You know the Lenin Project, otherwise known as the Lincoln Project. They flushed down the toilet bowl, $60+ million of liberals who got duped to go fight Senate races and run ads in states that were not competitive. They lost all those Senate races, lost seats in the House, and barely, maybe snuck by in the presidency with now what would be a feckless President Biden. But good job. Way to spend $65 million, Lenin Project. You guys are really terrific. So what's the Lenin Project doing? Because they need revenge too, of course, because they're hapless losers like that bag of odors, Rick Wilson, who I ran into an airport and was so malodorous, I wanted to put Vapo Rub, or as my wife calls it, V-Vaporoo. When she up my nose, he stunk so bad. But that's a different story. So he's a member of the Lenin Project. So here, from the Daily Caller piece, which again is in the show notes, this is a tweet from the Lenin Project, which was forced to take this down. Quote, here are two attorneys attempting to help Trump overturn the will of the Pennsylvania people. The Lenin Project tweeted, the Lincoln Project tweeted with a picture of the attorney. They want pictures too. The tweet, which included the attorney's phone numbers and emails, added, make them famous with a skull and crossbones emoji. Wow, that sounds kind of like a threat. That was me doing that, understandably so. People would be annoyed. I'd probably have my accounts banned. But because it's the Lenin Project, they largely get away with it. I think they were forced to delete the tweet, but there's been no further sanction I can tell at all of the Lenin Project. That doesn't sound like a threat. That's a threat. What else do you use the skull and... I don't understand what you use the skull and crossbones for. Have you ever got like a prescription for something ever? The Lenin Project idiots. You ever get like say you have wrinkles and you put retinol on or something like that? Do you ever on the retinol, do you ever seen a skull and crossbones? I'm just asking. No, you haven't, of course, because the skull and crossbones would mean don't touch that. So the skull and crossbones is a symbol of what? Death, poison. That's why we don't put it on prescriptions to take if it's not poison. But you do put it on like other things like rat poison and actual poison. So why would they put that on there if everybody was going to be, oh, listen, let's all sing Kumbaya. The Democrats, now they won. They're going to be happy. We got Trump. He was such a mean guy with his tweets. Trump, he's out. Now everything will be good again. Don't worry. Oh, really? Really? Now we're doxing people. We're adding them to lists. Yeah, this has been done before. Idi Amin, Pol Pot, Ceausescu, other luminaries of death and destruction. Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il, Kim Il-sung, them. These luminaries of higher order intellectual thinking on the left. Khrushchev, they had lists. They had lists. There's always a list for the left. They need a list. Because a lot of them are savage animals with not a shred of dignity, an ounce of courage, or a scintilla of morality. Don't ever forget what you're dealing with. I warned you about this a long time ago in that show that at the time did bonkers numbers. The show's grown so much, ironically. Back then, those bonkers numbers aren't even an hour now. But back then, it was bonkers numbers. Where I did that show about new rules. Remember new rules? We win, you lose. And I warned you that going against Trump because you didn't like his tweets was a mistake, because it's the equivalent of being in trench warfare with people lobbing political, bombs your way, and you're in that trench warfare. Are you worried about the guy fighting next to you's tweets? Listen, his tweets may be terrible. As I said, he could be a business cheat. He could be a terrible guy. He could be tweeting out awful jokes. When the political bombs start coming in and you're in that trench, and the bullets are whizzing by your head, you don't give a damn. You fight back. You can handle that crap later. I warned you that about Trump. And now where the Biden team thinks they won, and if we do lose, we're going to get democracy. Again, to quote Mencken, good and hard. All those fake Republicans out there, I don't like his tweets. Yeah, you like getting doxxed? You like being put on a list? You like tech companies? Target, you think they're not coming for you? No, I'm safe. I said Trump was bad once. You are? Really? You sure about that? Famous last words. Before the guillotine comes down on you. Reminds me of that video. Remember that video we played of those dopey kids in Washington, D.C. with the Black Lives Matter rally? Remember that video we played? They're like, yeah, we're with you. And then they throw the rock and break their windows. Remember that? No, I thought we said we're with you. Yeah, we're with you.
Yeah.
Right. Last words under the guillotine. I'm with you. You don't even get the you out. Good luck with that, folks. Oh, Dan. All right. Thank God it's done. Oh, no. The reckoning's not done. You know what you mean? You thought it was done? You thought tech tyranny, investigations, economic lockdowns, lists, doxing, you thought it was over? Sorry. Here's more. Remember these doxing episodes? They've got a lot of experience doing this. A great article in Red State today. In case you think they're not experienced at doxing and getting your personal information out there, so you can be bankrupt, fired, and have people showing up at your house, terrorizing you and your family, shining laser lights in your window. Red State has a great article up about all these episodes of leftists doing this in the past because they love doxing people, including with their media allies. Jeff Charles, here are 10 despicable ways far-left extremists have doxed conservatives. I'll just give you one here where the media plays in because the media loves this. Media, no, Dan, they're all about free speech and journalism. Sorry you thought that. Check this one out. Remember the case of Kate Cronin Furman, an assistant professor of human rights? That's hilarious. At University College London. Last year, she wrote a piece for the New York Times in which she called for the doxing and humiliation of federal employees. She even went so far as to create a list of people. Here we go with the list, Joe. Serving with the U.S. Border Patrol so that progressives could find ways to punish them. Man, they love their list, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Border Patrol, cops, police officers, law enforcement entities, corrections officers, military folks. Want your name on a list? No, that's not going to happen to me. Oh, sure. Just wait. Whew, we're done. Sorry, just kidding. There's one more. Now they're just outright promoting fraud, the left. You're like, they usually do their voter fraud semi-openly because they know the media won't report on it. Now they're just actively out in public calling for voter fraud. What have I told you about the left? They were going to double and triple down. They want a reckoning. Now they're just openly calling for fraud for the January 5th, 2021, coming right up, Senate election, both of them in Georgia. The one I've been warning you about for days. We lose these 2 Senate seats, we're in a world of trouble. No matter what happens with the presidency, we got to win those. Epic Times, Jack Phillips. Democrats suggest people move to Georgia to vote in elections. Experts issue warnings. Yeah, folks, in many cases, that's illegal. Unless you're a resident of Georgia under certain conditions, you can't move to Georgia to vote in an election for a week and then move back. Joe, they don't care. They've been emboldened. All this Joe Biden, head of the capo of the Biden crime family, talk about left men fancy. It's all bold stuff. He doesn't mean a word of it. He is going to hire people, tech people and others, to double down and come after you. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you how we fight back in a minute. We're not powerless here. But I got to set the terms of the battlefield first so you understand we're in the trenches right now. This is no time to be worried about the guy next to you helping you fight back and his tweets 6 months ago. You can talk about that later, not now. Move to Georgia, but that's illegal. Because we don't promote illegality on this show, let me be crystal clear. Don't do that unless you are legitimately moving to Georgia and can legitimately vote. It's a shame we have to say this on the show, but please don't do that. Leftists. Unreal that we have to do like PSA segments on the show. Please don't break the law and vote illegally. I mean, this is absurd that we have to do these segments. All right, I'm going to get to how we fight back. I got one article in the Atlantic I want to get to before that. Let me get to my third sponsor. This article is really, really important because I want to again highlight the reckoning coming and the deranged lunatics Biden is surrounding himself with if he wins this. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show, brought to you by our friends at Genucel. What's next year's technology for skincare? What if you could try it for free? For a very limited time, you can get the Genucel for bags and puffiness to try in the comfort of your own home for a full month free. You only pay shipping. You'll also get the Genucel Retinol Ultra, brand new for 2021, also free. Retinol Ultra is perfect for sensitive skin. This cutting-edge technology uses a natural retinol alternative with all the proven clinical effects of retinol without any irritation, also free. You be the judge. Wrinkle-free, clean, smooth, and vibrant skin. A face where you can see under-eye bags or even fine lines, wrinkles, and crow's feet, or you simply don't pay. How do you get this great stuff? Go to Genucel.com. That's Genucel.com. The combination of Genucel for bags and puffiness and Retinol Ultra will take care of bags under the eyes, fine lines, laugh lines, firmness, smoothness, and give you a younger texture guaranteed, or you simply don't pay. For your 30-day free trial, log on to Genucel.com. Genucel.com. That's Genucel.com. Go today. All right. So I laid down kind of the terms of what's coming our way in this trench warfare. The hot stuff coming at us because the Democrats need revenge. But I want you to understand that the people Biden is surrounding himself with, the lockdown crowd, everyone, it's going to have real damage. They don't value human life like you do. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a bold thing to say. I didn't say it. Zeke Emanuel said it himself in an article. Don't take my word for it. He actually wrote this in a piece in the Atlantic. You know Ezekiel Emanuel, Rahm Emanuel's brother? The Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste guy's brother? Far left radical? One of those guys who was a big proponent of Obamacare. Remember him? We used a lot of his stuff earlier. He wrote a piece in the Atlantic a little while ago. This is one of Biden's key guys. Health advisors, coronavirus. Why I hope to die at 75. Hey, brother, good luck. I don't share those sentiments. Have at it, babe. Not me. By the way, Biden's 78. I'm just saying. He's one of his advisors on coronavirus. Pretty sick, huh? Disgusting, right? I'm not kidding. Jeez. Why I hope to die at 75? The guy's wearing 78. Believe me, I'm sure Joe Biden, I assure you, does not feel the same way. I absolutely know. I don't know Joe Biden well, but I assure you, he doesn't agree with that article. On a serious note, very serious note, this guy could be a public policy advisor for the potential president of the United States if Biden is to win this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the chasm, not even the split, but the chasm, the Grand Canyon-wide chasm between us and the left. Conservatives see every life as a gift. It's not some commodity to be traded. It's a gift. It's a gift from God. From Jesus Christ, I've professed my faith loudly and do it proudly on the show all the time. And that gift has a value, like every gift. It has a value. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that value is really, really hard to determine for people who haven't had a reckoning themselves with their own mortality. You know, everybody makes, at some point in your life, some cheap statement about life. I've had relatives of mine who smoked. I'm not going to say who. It's not important to this, but a very close relative of mine smoked her whole life. And when I told her it was going to kill her, she said, well, I could get hit by a car tomorrow. People say stuff like that all the time. Candidly, folks, in a moment of self-deprecating honesty, but important for the segment, I've had those moments too. where you're like, gosh, is it even worth any of this anymore? I did. And then when you find out that there may be an expiration date in the bottom of your foot, that stuff changes real quick. And all of a sudden, that life you put a value on in pennies becomes worth trillions. People will do anything to survive when they see their life disappearing right in front of their eyes, evanescing into the air. Anything. Ram's brother here, old Zico, he may not have had that moment. I hope he hasn't. I mean that. I hope he hasn't gotten that call from a doctor one day saying you have a terminal disease. I hope and pray he never finds himself in a situation where someone pulls up on him in the street in a robbery and he has that moment in front of his. I assure you, he would do anything to survive. But I had that call with a disease that's, thank God, and I'm not using his name in vain. I mean, thank the Lord with a capital T and a capital L. Thank the Lord it's treatable. But make no mistake, it is a deadly disease that if left untreated, you will die. And when you have that moment, you see the world totally differently. When I was coming home from New York after I had that tumor removed from my neck, we were in a car coming back from the airport. And I was driving down the local highway here, headed back to my house in the back seat, looking out the window. And it was daytime. It was a clear day in Florida. It was beautiful. About 75. And even the trees looked different. I don't mean look different. They were still green and brown and whatever color a tree is. I mean, when you're here on earth and you value your life, and you don't see your life as being taken away from you anytime soon, you see yourself growing old with the trees and growing old with the neighborhood. You're like, oh gosh, this is going to be cool. In 10 years, there's going to be all kinds of development here, and this house we're going to improve this, and those trees are going to get nice and big. And when you have that moment with your own terminality, your own expiration date, and you see it in front of you, you say to yourself, I'm not attached to this place like those trees are. I'm not going to see that tree. This was before I knew this disease was treatable. You see these items and these objects as attached to a place you no longer have an attachment to. And let me tell you something, you will do anything to survive. Who the hell are these losers? Zeke Emanuel, writing an article suggesting to the public that life is so valueless that at 75, you should just wrap it up because you're going to have a couple pains in your joints. These are the people Joe Biden has chose to surround himself with. Don't ever forget that. This is what you want. Every second of your life is valuable. I don't care how many arthritis pains or heart attacks or strokes you've had, God forbid. Every second is valuable and is a gift. All right, you need to take a little mental break after. Importantly, I want to leave you this How We Fight Back segment because it doesn't do you any good to talk about all the damage being done and the threats being made towards us if I don't give you a way out, because there is. Let me get to my last sponsor, folks, and we'll get to that. I appreciate your patience. I just really need to make a break there, if you know what I mean. Podium, folks, business owners. Did you know that 97% of text messages get opened and 90% are open within 3 minutes? You need to be texting your customers. If you are spending time on the phone, scheduling appointments, you need Podium. If you're sending invoices in the mail, you need Podium. If you need to convert more sales from your website, you definitely need Podium. Podium's a business messaging tool that gets you off the phone and into texting. This is invaluable. Podium brings all of your messages into one centralized inbox, so your whole team, not just you, can access it, empowering you to save time while responding to customers faster. You need more reviews on Google or Facebook? Text it. You need to send an invoice? Text it. Podium is helping doctors notify patients when it's time for them to come inside for their appointments. How helpful is that? Same with mortgage brokers, insurance agents, and lawyers. Podium is even helping retailers offer curbside pickup and hands-free payment. Podium's helping car dealers sell cars and deliver them to buyers. Whatever your business does, Podium can help. Podium customers have seen some fantastic results recently. A plumbing company converted 16% of their web traffic into leads. You need Podium. It'll change your business. I'm teaming up with them for a special offer. Here you go. For a limited time, sign up for 20% off your plan. They are so confident that if Podium doesn't make your business better within 90 days, they will send you a $150 Amazon gift card for the holidays. That's right. Go to podium.com/Dan to get started. Podium.com/Dan. That's 20% off. You go to podium.com/Dan, podium.com/Dan. Go today. You're not going to want to miss it. All right. So how do we get back in this fight? Because you all are warriors. The emails I get out there from bricklayers, carpenters, electricians, steam fitters, truckers, soldiers, police officers, corrections officers, firemen, all you heroes out there, they don't quit anybody. I'm telling you, I'm not bad. This isn't like hyperbole to do like a rah-rah routine. This is a fact. I was at church this week in the parking lot. Everybody's like, what do we do? Who do we donate to? Do we do another parade? What do we do? Do we get out there and knock on doors? They're not kidding. Nobody's giving up at all. So how do we fight back? Well, I discussed this article last week, and I want to just briefly, I don't like discussing articles twice, but this one matters because it had some great points in it. The article's from the American Conservative. It'll be in the show notes again. And it's titled, How the Right Can Organize Like the Left by David Hines. This is a spectacular piece. I must warn you in advance, it's not for the faint of heart. I don't mean there's anything crazy in there. I mean, it requires things of you that if you're, which you aren't in my audience, but if you're out there on the just fringes of politics, you only get involved when you think it benefit you, and you're not really too into this whole life, liberty, pursuit of happiness thing, this article is probably not for you because it requires you to do things and not just talk about them. Most of the people in my audience are ready to do a whole lot to get their life, liberty, and their happiness back. But the point of the article, teaching people how to fight back against this coming reckoning the left is planning, lists, censoring, bankruptcy for you, doxing. Oh yeah, it's all down there. I showed you the articles. We don't need to just talk about it. It's right there. I can prove it to you. If there's one lesson we can take from the left on how to fight back against this is don't ever forget this axiomatic truth, that pressure is power. No, Dan, power is Senate seats and congressional seats and the presidency. It's a form of power, election power, electoral power, the power to vote. But ladies and gentlemen, the real power the left figured out a long time ago is the power of pressure. You don't believe me? Why do you think they're doxing people? Why would a leftist group like the Lenin Project put out people's home addresses, phone numbers, or whatever they put their names and photos? Why would they do that if they didn't think it would damage people and ruin their lives? Because they know it will create pressure to have those people fired. And don't forget the axiomatic truth. Pressure is power. So how do we create pressure and power through pressure? Well, ladies and gentlemen, power and pressure are products of numbers. Let's go to the screenshot from this piece. Again, I included some of these last week, and you should read this piece. It's worth your time. Quote, if you want to actually produce change, you can't do it with debates. You can't do it with pundits, and you can't do it by sitting at home and assuming someone else will do something. You have to learn to build a team and work as part of it. And your team has to learn to be part of larger teams. You must, in short, build a community here. Folks, I've said this to you before. I love this show. It's my entire life. I've been an activist. I've been a part of groups, many groups. And I say to you all the time about this show, I love this show. It's my life. But this show is meaningless if it doesn't spur people to action. You have to do. Things have to be done. Things I told you I do. I want to go up and support those New Jersey guys. Went up there and worked out there. I had told that guy he'd get a tattoo in North Carolina. I still got it on my back. It's a tattoo. It doesn't go away. Sometimes I wish I could do more. Unfortunately, now I'm a bit limited, kind of tied to a schedule of stuff. But that's going to change in a few months too as I get out of this. We have to do, and I got more do planned. But pressure And the power of pressure is only created through numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not organizing locally, you have to be. And if you don't want to, understand that that pressure from the left is never going to stop because they understood this a long time ago. There's really no excuse at this point to not be a member of your local Republican club, your local Tea Party group, your local conservative group. There's none. Oh, I can't make it out on their meetings Thursday nights. Well, I'm sorry, then you're not really interested in changing things. It's your prerogative. It's a free country. But then pressure those groups to start allying with other groups. We have groups down here that are unbelievable. We won Florida. The Trump crew won Florida by almost 4 points. That's a landslide in Florida. We have a group in Palm Beach County. It's Club 45. You go to a meeting there. There's 1,500 people in the room. They reach out to other groups. Power through pressure. Pressure is power. And power and pressure are always products of numbers. Make yourself one of those numbers in a group that allies with another group. And do it today. There's no time to take our toys and go home. It's time to double and triple down. So if that's the most important takeaway, that pressure is power and power comes through numbers, here's the second most important thing, maybe equally as important. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to learn that actual material losses matter. Check this out. The left figured this out a long time ago. The words every conservative elected official needs to have emblazoned on his or her wall in letters 4 feet high and on fire are, quote, actual material loss. Hard lefties understand that if you want if you want someone to change his behavior, you have to be able to inflict actual material loss on them. Not devastating bon mots, not status hits, not embarrassment, actual material loss. For politicians, this means votes. For other people, usually it means money. Folks, we got a primary season coming up right around the corner. No, Dan, we just had an election. Yeah, folks, the midterms are in 2022. The primaries, people will start announcing their candidacy for the congressional and Senate seats in 2022. I'm guessing in probably 6 months, maybe less for some. I announced right after the election when I ran, we almost won that thing. I ran for almost 2 years. This is the time now in the primary to let people know you are going to vote. And get those conservatives and fake Republicans on the record right now that if their behavior doesn't change that vote and your numbers are going to inflict actual material loss through votes on them. Don't be quiet. You have their emails, you have their phone numbers. They work for you. We can responsibly make contact with them every day if we need to. They work for us, not the other way around. Your vote is an actual material win or an actual material loss for them. The time to let them know about that is in these primaries. Because once the rhinos get through in the primaries, we're stuck voting for them later because the other option is catastrophic. I would never vote for a Democrat. But second, the actual material loss the Democrats figured out a long time ago to inflict on people outside of votes in politics, because we're not all elected officials. Votes don't matter to me. I'm not running for anything. Is the boycott and the doxing and the list gathering. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have money too. Matter of fact, I believe last time I checked that 71 million people, that's a whole lot of folks, voted for Donald Trump. Matter of fact, I believe it's the largest amount of Republican voters to vote for a Republican candidate for the presidency ever. Last time I checked, the data was pretty conclusive. 71 million people. My gosh, that's a lot of money. If we all made $10 each, it'd be $710 million. I'm assuming we all make a whole lot more than that. Companies want to mess around. Eventbrite wants to cancel your stuff, holding a Trump rally. You can speak up too. You know, I'll tell you, for years, I spoke out against boycotts on our side because I thought they were foolish and stupid. Yeah.
I remember.
Now you remember that, right? Yeah, I woke up. New rules, folks. We win, you lose. But boycotts are unethical. They are? Are you sure? So you're suggesting to me if a company makes an unethical decision like canceling a Trump rally, we should go back and support them with our money anyway, and that's ethical? No, that's just stupid. Do you know, I am not kidding, that I have not walked in a Target in 4 years? Target store? My wife's laughing because she knows it's true. If the last morsel of food on earth was for sale in a Target store, I'm telling you, I would skip it. Do you know I will never, ever buy a Nike product again in my life? 71 million people who voted for Donald Trump have a whole lot of money. You can inflict actual material losses too, and a whole lot of them. You can also do boycotts. What's a boycott? So when the left wants to boycott a Hispanic restaurant owner who supports Trump, come on, Dan, that damn. No, it actually happened. I could give you the guy's name, but I'm running out of time. What did we do? We conservatives showed up and made the guy's the most money he's ever made in probably a month-long period in his entire life. Restaurant, he couldn't even get in. It's probably like a 4-hour wait to get in. We can do that too. Remember the Chick-fil-A boycott? I think I ate chicken for like 6 months after that. True story. Cost me a lot of time waiting on Chick-fil-A lines, but they make it go quick. You can boycott and you can boycott too. And 71 million people have a whole lot of money and influence to do it. They want to inflict actual material losses on us, boycotting conservatives. Well, you can pay that favor right back. I'll say one more thing. The only part of this article I disagree with is don't give up the ideological debate. He's very down on debate, and not down on debate, but kind of down. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I agree with him wholeheartedly that the do matters. The do always supersedes the talk. If the talk doesn't motivate you to do something, it's all for naught. 100% agreed. But I don't downplay winning the ideological argument either. And you may say, Dan, that's a waste of time. I'm on Facebook debating liberals and they're all nuts. Yes, folks, they are. Joe, don't like because you've heard this story 1,000 times. You know I know where I'm going with this. But ladies and gentlemen, I was at a conference once talking to a really brilliant activist, a Republican activist who knows the street better than anyone. And he said to me, you're not debating the liberals on Facebook. They're lost. You're debating the third person who's reading the stuff you're posting on Facebook against the liberals. There's always a sane, rational third person who hasn't been swayed yet, who's watching what's happening. You're not debating the liberals. When you debate the liberals, you're really putting on a show for the third person listening, who's going to realize later in the end, you were right because liberals never have facts on their side. I'm going to play a clip of this in a minute. I was at the Baltimore County Fair when I was running for the U.S. Senate in Maryland. I had a rather loud, boisterous verbal disagreement with a school teacher who was against school choice, which I found kind of ridiculous, claiming she was in it for the kids, yet the kids want to get out of her school to a school that works and she doesn't want them to. You're in it for yourself, sounds like to me. But I won the debate. I don't say that because it's me and because I have some big ego. I won the debate because she didn't have an answer to any of the facts I proposed her about dropout rates, school funding not going down after school choice is implemented. She had all the facts wrong. Doesn't matter. The lady ran away in a huff. I think she probably called me a racist, homophobe, transphobe, xenophobe, phobic. I don't even remember. You know, that's what they do when they lose. They don't have any. They're just angry people. But I kid you not, about 10 minutes later, it's a guy or a woman, forgive me, I don't remember the deets. This was a long time ago, came up and said, hey, Dan, I listened to that whole thing. You know, I was a big, anti-school choice guy, but you know what? You're right. And I'm telling you, it wasn't the exact words, but that's exactly how it went down. I didn't even know the guy was listening. And when I went to that activist forum later and the guy said that you're always debating the third person, I never forgot that moment. Don't give up the debate. The facts are on our side. Life does begin at conception. Parents should pick where their kids go to school. You can spend your money better than the government every single time. You know more about your healthcare than a government bureaucrat does. These are just facts. Listen to Thomas Sowell with Dave Rubin, who I have a lot of respect for. Thomas Sowell is my ideological lodestar. There's nothing, my life would be totally different without the writings of Thomas Sowell. Here's Thomas Sowell on Dave Rubin Show in a brief 30-second clip. Thomas Sowell, who used to be a liberal, a hardcore liberal, talking about how liberals, those third-party, maybe semi-leaning liberals, or sometimes even real liberals themselves, see the facts, and sometimes they have an awakening too. Check this out.
You were a Marxist at one time in your life. Most people will find this hard to believe, but it is true.
But it's not that unusual. Most of the leading conservative thinkers of our time did not start off as conservative. You had a couple like Bill Buckley and George Will. But I mean, Milton Friedman was a liberal and a Keynesian. Hayek was a socialist. Ronald Reagan was so far left, at one point the FBI was following him.
So then what was your wake-up to what was wrong with that line of thinking?
Facts.
Told you I'd leave you on a good note today. There's going to be a lot of people waking up in the next few years because facts do matter. And as the Joe Biden-led, soon-to-becoming inquisition of doxing lists and everything else hits them right in the face, and tangible material losses are inflicted on them, they're going to start looking at the facts in an alternative way out. Be that person they find as they're looking for an exit ramp off that highway. Be waiting for them with the facts and open arms. This fight's not over. This country's ours. We still have to live here at the end of the day. This fight has just begun. Regardless of what happens in this presidential election, sooner or later, we're going to have to dust off, stand up, and take our country back. Because it's ours, and our kids live here too, and we owe it to them because it was given to us. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This is an important show today. Spread it around if you wouldn't mind. I appreciate it. We really need to motivate people to action. It matters. And thanks for your support. We had a really great week this week. Please subscribe to the show at Rumble, rumble.com/Bongino. It's really important. Those subscriptions matter to us. Apple Podcasts as well. And you can always listen at Bongino.com. Thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow.
You just heard Dan Bongino.